Russian media report that several combatants have been accepted for internship in the Kremlin. Participants in the war against Ukraine are undergoing internships in 3 departments of the Kremlin's domestic policy bloc: the regional bloc, the Department for Public Projects, and the Department for Monitoring and Analyzing Social Processes. In fact, at least 2 military personnel are undergoing internship in the latter bloc.
It is assumed that Didenko and Shorokhov will adapt military personnel who have returned from the war to civilian life. This topic will be one of their priorities for the Kremlin's domestic policy bloc in the next few years. At the same time, all military personnel admitted to internship in the Kremlin were previously listeners of the Time of Heroes program. The Moscow Times publication writes, citing Russian propaganda media.
According to the Center for Countering Disinformation, the idea of involving Russian military personnel in the system of state municipal governance within the framework of the so-called Time of Heroes personnel program belongs personally to Putin.
The Time of Heroes program is just a television illusion of great opportunities for veterans, the real goal of which is to attract as many Russians as possible to the war against Ukraine. The Center for Countering Disinformation under the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine on Telegram.
The first stream of 83 Russian combatants began training at the end of May 2024. Since July, program participants have been sent for internships in the regions. Thus, on September the 14th, Korean military man Artur Orlov became the head of Putin's new pioneer group, Movement of the First.
Orlov is a Korean military man, originally from Udmurtia. In 2010, he graduated from the tank school in Kazan. In 2016, Orlov fought in Syria. In 2022, in Ukraine, he received the title of Hero of Russia for his participation in battles near the town of Popasna in the Luhansk region, which was almost completely destroyed under the Russian invasion. Meduza publication writes.
According to the Kremlin dictator, participants in the aggressive war against Ukraine should take leading positions in the education and upbringing of youth. After all, in his opinion, this is the new Russian elite, and this is what it looks like. Volgograd resident Dmitry Malyshev, sentenced to 25 years in prison for murder and a number of other particularly serious crimes, returned from the front to his native village on leave after being wounded.
10 years ago, Malyshev killed a native of Tajikistan, cut out his heart, fried it, and ate it, filming it all on video. And before that, as a member of a criminal group, he shot 2 businessmen in order to take possession of their car. Malyshev and his accomplices also planned to kill police officers intending to obtain weapons for subsequent attacks, but their ambush failed. Malyshev said that he'd signed a contract for his military of defense in October 2023 and gone to the front as part of the Storm V detachment. When asked why he decided to go to war, the cannibal replied that he wanted to protect traditional values. The Moscow Times publication writes,
Malyshev and his ilk are not only at large, but are also being involved in the educational process in Russian schools. Now, Russian military personnel who have returned from the front are teaching a new subject instead of life safety, fundamentals of safety and defense of the motherland.
Даже если это не бывшие зэки.
Even if these are not former prisoners, these are people who went through a criminal war, people who survived almost death and also killed. What do you want them to teach children? The experience of killing, contempt for life, mental disorders. Previously, children used to be taught their personal safety, but now the emphasis has shifted to protecting the homeland. And the homeland is understood as the current regime. What are they now preparing pupils for in school? For admission, but not to a university, but to the army.
Now the main task of the Kremlin is the formation of a future generation of soldiers who will mindlessly go to war at the first wish of the Kremlin dictator, no matter who it will be. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.